Alright, in this video we're going to go through the AP Biology Ecology Study Guide from the summer. Okay, from chapter 42, make sure, pretty basic, but make sure you understand the difference between biotic and abiotic. Biotic means living things, okay, and abiotic means non-living things. This was the answer to number 3 in your study guide. I don't believe this will be on your exam. Same thing with question number 4. Okay, as for the biomes, you should know the basic differences between the main biomes. Being able to look at a table and reading off the table to understand what's going on with the biomes would also be helpful. Here are the answers to the next question. I really like this question. It makes you think about the different organisms and how things affect them, but nothing like this would be on your exam. Okay, so like I said earlier, you should know what a biome is and then be able to distinguish between them. So know the basic definition of a biome and be able to give an example. Okay, remember biomes they are ecosystems with different types of animals and plants, and it also relates to the weather and the conditions that they live in. Here is your answer for number 12. You do not have to worry about Wallace for this exam. We will be covering Wallace more with evolution. Here's your answer to the next question, the different kinds of barriers that can, and again, like this is more of into the evolution unit, an introduction to that, so it will not be on your exam. For this one, you should probably understand the different things that humans can do to alter and change ecosystems, just in general, nothing too in-depth. Okay, so obviously chapter 43 is way more important than chapter 42. Chapter 43 is populations, and we did a population lab, so this one will have more stuff on the exam. I'll have a breakdown for you soon. I thought number 15 was a pretty easy question, especially living in Michigan. But nothing specific like this will be on the exam. It's mostly going to be vocabulary based. Definitely should know the factors that affect the size of a population, like immigration and emigration, and the differences between them. Which one is when people come in and which one is when people leave. I think I mentioned on the first day of class that being able to read a graph is very important. I don't know why mine gets turned on this program, but being able to understand what's going on in the graph and analyzing it is a key component of AP Bio. Any math that's going to be on the test is just going to be a simple population math problem, which would, all your tests is going to be multiple choice for this exam next week. So here are your answers here for 1 through 4. I would like you to be see these type of problems, but I have never seen them on the actual AP test, so I'm not too worried about them, and I will not be putting them on our exam. But here are your answers in case you didn't get to this in class. Okay, for this table, I know I got a couple questions on this during the summer, but if you have a population over the years, right, and then they want you to fill in the ages, that's pretty easy. Obviously, your age is going to go up over time. Okay, so as you can see by my arrow. And then for survivorship is how likely they're going to survive. The younger you are, the more likely you're going to survive. As age goes on, you're going to be less likely to survive due to like old age. And then the last column is based on reproduction. And so the peak, your highest number, if you have numbers in there, your peak should be around, age 25. That is the peak of reproductive age for females. And it's not going to happen until, teenage years. So you can see how the arrows work. And then as you get older, you're not going to be able to reproduce. And at a certain age, I think it says 55. I can't see. It got cut off on mine. You're not going to be able to reproduce at all. So that's why there's zeros from 55 or 45. I can't see it. Sorry. And on till you're older. So hopefully you understand that. 423, can populations grow forever? I hope you wrote no. If populations are starting out, everything is good. It's going to grow pretty exponentially until it reaches a limit of food and water, and then it's going to fluctuate. So as it's going up, that is called exponential growth. And if once it hits its carrying capacity, which is abbreviated K, then it is called logistic growth. Okay, so eventually, yeah, populations are going to run out of resources, food, water, etc. There's going to be competition there, and so there's a limit to what a population can hold. Why have human populations keep rising? It's because we have many advances in technology, like vaccines, sanitation's better, we have antibiotics for sicknesses, and so obviously we can live a lot longer now than we have in the past. Okay, for number 25, you could have many, many different answers. This is what the key had, so you can have an idea. What kind of organism would have a problem with that type of barrier? So for a parking lot, something like a slug would have a hard time. Maybe there would be a predator there. It's really large for them to be able to cross, the parking lot. They might dry out by the time they made it across, etc. A small road, they put an example of like frogs and stuff like that. So because they could obviously get ran over by a car and never even make it to the other side. On a highway, they put, like, you can think deer or elk. They might be intimidated to cross and could die because of the traffic as well. And then just building a house could cause, like, an example, a bird. It would reduce their, vegetation and cause problems with their health. Chapter 44 is another big one. Pretty basic ecology here, but definitely need to know some vocab, definitely here. Okay, for number 26, definitely need to be able to do something like this. If they give you an example of two different organisms, you need to know what the relationship is. Are both organisms benefiting? Is one getting harmed? What is it? And then you need to know the name of that relationship, which is called the type of interaction. So if an American bison is feeding on grass, the American bison is obviously getting food. That's a positive. Species 2, which is the grass, would getting negative because it's obviously getting eaten. But that's called a consumer resource. That's just a resource for that bison. For the fish cleaning the teeth of a larger fish, that is a mutualistic relationship. Both of them are benefiting. Mosquitoes feed on the blood of a deer. Obviously, that's hurting the deer, and it's feeding on it. So that is a parasite host situation, so that's called parasitism. This is a new one. Mold secretes penicillin that kills bacteria in the local area, which generally has little or no effect on the mold. So the mold is having no effect, that's why it says a 0 there. But the bacteria is getting hurt. So that's called amensalism. It's a relationship between organisms in which one is being hurt or destroyed and the other one remains unaffected. All right, next one, a cactus wren bird builds a nest in a cactus without affecting the cactus. That's commensalism. That's when one benefits and the one is unharmed or benefited at all, neutral. A hawk captures a small squirrel for food. That's like predator prey. That's called consumer resource in our book. That's positive, negative. A rabbit rests in the shade of a small bush. The bush obviously doesn't care. That's commensalism. Deer create a trail through a forest where they routinely travel. That's obviously hurting the forest, so that is a positive, negative consumer resource example. And a bird removes insects from the back of large animals, though that is definitely a plus situation, which is called mutualism. This is kind of a key important thing. The difference between predation and parasitism is mainly if you are a parasite, you're not going to kill your host because you are dependent on them, you're getting them. You don't want to, if you kill it, then you're not going to get any more nutrition or whatever it is that you're getting from them. So that's the difference. A parasite will not kill their host. A predator does kill its prey. For number 28, why won't the foxes eat all the rabbits? Why doesn't that usually happen? The main answer probably is the first bullet there is that obviously as the rabbits number goes down, they're going to be harder to find and more rare. They have more than one food source as well. Also, it says prey, but have better defense mechanisms when there's not as many of them. They'll have more resources available. There's another one. So those are possible answers for number 28. All right, this is going to be the last slide for this video, and then I will do a part 2. Competition, how can two species actually can compete for the same resources in the same location at the same time? The concept is called resource partitioning. You might want to become familiar with that term. It's basically where two organisms are going to adapt a little bit so that they can both survive and coexist. For example, two squirrels might eat acorns of the same tree at the same time. However, one squirrel might eat it that's still on the branch, the acorns that are up there, and one squirrel might just eat the ones that are on the floor. So it is possible for that to happen. Resource partitioning. Okay, for the rest of the study guide, please watch part 2. I will be putting both of these files on our website as well.